You already know you're destined for something greater, the stuff that they don't teach in Scrum Master School. When I created the Forge, all I wanted to do was show people how badass skills and leadership skills and agile skills were all the same thing. What I didn't expect is that I would help transform lives. And now that's become my real passion and purpose. People who leave the Forge get new jobs, get better pay, get more respect, build more trust, get more attention. Some of them write books, some of them start businesses, and some of them even get aspects of their personal lives in order for the first time in their lives. Whether you're looking to be a better Scrum Master or coach, a better teammate, or you're looking to see how big you can go, the Forge is about walking side by side with you so that you can discover your limitlessness, create your own outcomes, and live a life that's meaningful to you. This will elevate your practice to an elite level. Don't miss the opportunity to join us in the 2022 Forge. This might be the only one I do this year, so go to my website, badassagile.com, click on the banner to sign up for an upcoming info session, and I'll see you this fall. A lot of people in our industry believe that mindset change can't happen quickly, and that can be true, but it's really important to keep trying because it is the limiting beliefs of the individuals on the team and the leaders that support them that determines an Agile team's success. That's this week on the Badass Agile podcast. Greetings, team. Welcome to the Badass Agile podcast. I'm your host, Chris Williams. Hello, welcome. I'm happy to see you come back. Thank you for joining me week in, week out. I love seeing you here and I appreciate everything that you guys have done for me. Today's episode, I want to talk to you about the beliefs that you can't see. Why it's so critically important to be able to identify and address them, and how do you do it? But first, let's take a moment to remember why we're here. To create an elite tribe of leaders who truly serve their clients and communities by doing what matters and what works, relentlessly chasing value and excellence like a badass. There's so many resources out there about what you need to do to be agile, but we're focused on who you need to become in order to lead teams. So, let's hammer down those fundamentals to create a truly unique and powerful force in this industry. Now, if this helps you, please tell your friends. Don't forget to follow me on YouTube. I've got tons more content for you there. Also, check out the Agile Horizon at theagilehorizon.com. Look for me in the Facebook Listener Lounge. And you can follow me on all the socials, LinkedIn, Instagram, and so on. Here's the issue with limiting beliefs. Most of our defining outward behavior emerges through experience that forge our beliefs, and beliefs become default ways of acting and reacting, many of which we're not even conscious of, and most of which don't serve us well. So approaching mastery often feels like becoming limitless, like carving away the stone, like slowly removing those limiting beliefs and the things that they keep us from doing in order to improve and grow. We have to shatter the boundaries that are caused by our beliefs. When our beliefs are negative or constraining, we will either avoid doing the right things, the things that are good for us or others, either because we feel that it's pointless or because striving in the face of low odds is demotivating, or we'll do the right things, but we won't do them in a big enough way that creates real impact, real change, real success. So what are some examples of these limiting beliefs? These will sound highly familiar to you. You'll know these by their name. I or we can't do this. It's the ultimate can't. We stop before we start because we're certain that if we try, we're going to fail. Not only is that not true, because if you do anything long enough and simply don't quit, you'll eventually succeed. But it also puts a very, very bad tint on the word fail. We want to fail sometimes. If we're not good at something, the only way to get better is to suck at it, figure out why we suck, figure out how we're going to attack experimentation and improvement and learning. so that next time we try it, we don't have a failure or the failure is smaller. That's how you build confidence, by being okay with not doing it right first time out of the gate. Here's another one. We can't change them or it. So the assumption that something is too big to change, whether that is a set of policies, whether that's the system, or whether it's an individual with a strong set of beliefs or a higher rank than you, the minute we believe that those people should be changed and therefore can't be changed, we run into trouble. First things first, sometimes people can be changed. Influence, persuasion, is at the heart of getting people to commit to a common cause, sometimes one that they don't yet believe in. So sometimes change is useful, but there are other times when changing the other is not the goal. Working around their rejection or refusal to accept is the better way to go. But either way, saying we can't change them or it is a surefire way to believe that something is done before you've even started. Similar to this one, this won't work. When you know for certain that whatever you're about to try to do isn't going to stick, isn't going to work, then you've already set yourself up for failure in your mind. Imagine how that changes the way you show up. Do you put your best work in? Do you persist in the face of resistance, failure, challenge? Of course not, because you've already decided in your head this is never going to work. Here's the next belief. Maybe you own this one. I'm supposed to be right. I'm supposed to get it right. My yardstick is perfection. This must be good enough before anyone gets to see it. This causes all kinds of problems because the truth of the matter is sometimes you're not that good at something the first time you try it. Sometimes your instinct is wrong. Sometimes you're passionate about something, but your team isn't. Your customer is not. But the only way to know is to put it in front of them and say, here, look what I made for you. And have them say, this won't help. This isn't what I need. This isn't it. This isn't what I wanted. Okay. If you make perfection your yardstick, then burn once, burn twice, and then you never try again. Here's another one that's related. We've spoken about this before. I'm not allowed to do this. If you go through your life only doing things that other people, especially in big groups, say is okay, you will never dare. You'll never do anything big. You'll never change anything because change always requires swimming against the current, doing things that haven't been done before and therefore are less accepted. Here's another one, another big belief that throws you off. I don't need help. I've got this. No, you don't. Nobody builds anything great without a team. The power of Agile is the power of team. It's the numbers. It's looking across the table at your colleague or counterpart and saying, I've got you. We win together or we fail together. But if you fancy yourself a solo pilot, you don't belong in a team room, you're going to struggle to find true agility. Nobody can do this but me. Oh yeah, keeping your stuff close to your chest because you want to be the one with all the glory. You want to be the expert. You want to be the one who radiates sunbeams when this goes well, so you don't want to share it. This one's a hard one because nobody wants to own this behavior. Nobody wants to cop to the mindset, and yet how many times do we find ourselves or others behaving this way? That false belief that only we're smart enough, skilled enough, or special enough to do a particular thing will keep the team from performing its most natural function, helping each other. I've got 3 more for you that fall under the category of readiness, that you can't do something until you have all your ducks in a row, till everything's lined up and ready for you. Number 1, I don't have enough time. Well, that's true. You probably spend a lot of time working on things that don't add the maximum amount of value. You might straight up waste your time. You might spend too much time on social media, too much time planning, daydreaming, napping, taking a break, etc. So the reality is you have the time. You just don't use the time wisely. Here's the trick. If something is important enough, you must find the time. Time is an attitude. Abundance or lack of time is an attitude. It is up to you whether or not the time actually exists because you get to choose how you appoint and assign your time to all the things that need to get done today. Here's the next one. I don't have the right tools. There's something I got to buy. There's something I got to get. Here's a big one. There's a course you have to take, a book you have to read before you can leap. Nonsense. This belief is holding you back. Start now. Start today. If you're not an expert and you're so new that you have to read a book, then what makes you think that if you put your stuff out there, you don't deserve to get schooled? You're at the starting line. You're new. Somebody should be mentoring, teaching, and correcting you. That's the point of having a guide, a mentor, or a leader. And it's the same thing with knowledge or skill. To be clear, in the last point, I meant tools, things you got to buy. We don't have Jira, we don't have Miro, we don't have this, we don't have that, so we couldn't possibly get started. When I was referring to books or courses or knowledge, this is the other kind of lack that we believe. We buy into this myth that until I know a certain amount, until I've read a certain amount, until I've watched a certain number of YouTube videos, I shouldn't even begin. The best way to learn anything is to not know, but to endeavor with the limited knowledge you have in the moment and to trust that the lessons you need to learn now will arise for you. And so will the right mentors and teachers, by the way. How do we fix these? How do we look at these behaviors and say, yeah, I recognize that one. I recognize it in me. I use this as an excuse often. I waste time. I miss opportunities because I have failed to carve away at the stone. Well, one thing you can do to change your beliefs is just name the opposite. Instead of I can't do this, I can do this. Instead of saying I don't have the time, say yes, but I'll find the time. I don't have the right tools. Yeah, but you know what? Neither did the people who invented whatever we're doing. They got by without the tools. I'm willing to bet I can too. Tools are nice, but people like me don't need them. Naming the opposite doesn't have a magical power, except it connects you with your identity. Who do you wish to be? How do you want to show up in the world? What do you want to be famous for? What's your reputation? What will people say about you? Are you the kind of person who never had the time, or the person who never had the time but found it? Are you the kind of person who didn't know the answer, but decided to experiment and fail so that you could find a way? Are you the kind of person who avoided the unknown because it was scary and you doubted your capability? Or were you the person who always had a positive mental attitude and made the conscious choice to leap every time? Changing from negative to affirmative gives us all the accountability and all the power. The challenge is still there, exactly as it was yesterday, but our confidence that we're slowly building, our confidence to win, our inner certainty begins to build and creates a new energy. Next thing you should learn how to do is to be aware of when, in any given moment, you're pulling one of these excuses. Your beliefs are popping up trying to keep you safe, and they're telling you you can't do this, and you believe it. So you begin to shy away or back away from the challenge, to make excuses, to relinquish your accountability. The moment you see yourself doing that, that's the perfect moment to flip the script, change the negative into its opposite, and to simply do what you would normally fear to do. Do it in a small way. Do it for 30 seconds. Do it on a small, low-risk piece of scope. If you fail and you haven't lost much, but if you win, you've also earned a badge of confidence. But you can never get there if you don't see yourself buying into these beliefs. They're there, but they operate at a level below your consciousness on purpose. Because when they run without your permission, they're unchallenged, and they get to live another day. But when they live another day, they don't serve you. They harm you. They keep you from greatness. And you know something? We also have to stay resilient and committed to the goal. There's a reason why we feel these goals are tricky. It's because they are. The kinds of goals that we shy away from because we believe we're not ready, we believe we're not worthy, we believe it can't be done. They're usually noble, important goals that scare most people off. You're not alone. But the toxic beliefs only get formed when we see these challenging goals as impossible, like there's no point in trying. Only our inner certainty and ruthless experimentation will create results that have been out of your reach before now. Teach this to yourself so you can teach this to your teams, and watch what happens when they become limitless. The best news is, you always were. There's nothing new to find here, only to see reality and how your brain perceives it and how you talk to yourself is exposed for the first time. And when the veil is lifted, you can actively challenge it and get very, very different results. My friends, I hope this helped you and inspired you. As always, you can reach out at badassagile.com. Find me on Twitter at badass_agile and on Instagram at badassagile. I look forward to seeing you next time, and until then, stay badass.